Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Envy, Strong Style Cinephile, and we're back with The Flash. The final run, the final race is on for 13 episodes. Let's geek about our first few minutes, because this episode gave us, a look at Owen Mercer, a version of Captain Boomerang, which was cool for like the 2 seconds, really, he was in it for anything that mattered, but then we find out he's working for the big bad Red Death speedster. Of course, we already know who that's going to be. Actor-wise, we don't know what the story's going to be. They have some mad on for Barry, and they want to make his life miserable, take away everybody he loves, etc., etc. Typical villain fanfare. The episode is another Groundhog Day episode, which The Flash has done before, which other Legends of Tomorrow did one of those at the very least. Zari, when she was going through her, one of her focus episodes was a Groundhog Day episode. I think that was it's been done before, you know. This episode, it was triggered by the interaction with Captain Boomerang and the heist where he was stealing stuff from a mobile particle accelerator. There was some tachyon stuff, some science-y sort of gobbledygook, and this is what happened. They get stuck in this time loop, and they have to do something different eventually, Barry and Iris, to change how things end up to get them out of this time loop. Of course, we get the little time loop montage of humor situations and stuff where they realize, you know, they're trying to do something and then it's like going bad and they're like, screw it, just let's wait for the explosion or whatever to try it again the next day, and that's what they do multiple times. So that was kind of funny with how they handled it, mostly just because the actors were funny in those moments. The big thing about it is what we saw in the trailer for the season, where Barry has this book and he's charting out their life. And one of those points when he was talking to Captain Kramer and she tells him that she's looking for a new head of the CSI department at Central City PD, Barry's like, hey, I want to do it. It won't interfere with my time as the Flash. Of course, Kramer knows he's the Flash. And she's going to put in a word for him. And then the next day comes around and he's beating her to the punch as far as like talking about it, but then his overeagerness kind of like hurts him in that situation, because she's like, well, maybe I shouldn't give it to you. And he's like, well, you're supposed to, because that's what the book says. He's so just clinging to this book, and everything has to stick to how it goes in the book. They have to stick to the script, as I like to say. But Iris doesn't want to follow that. She wants she doesn't want to know the future. She wants to live it and feel like she has, even though like what happens in Barry's book likely is what happens. She wants to at least feel that she has some sense of choice and some sense of control over her life and what is to come. So that gives them some stuff to butt heads about it. Kind of like just Barry at this point should know that his efforts to protect people and protect the ones he loves and do this and that by manipulating the future or by using future knowledge or this or that, it never really works out the way that he wants it to, and that he just needs to kind of let things happen. Might not be the easiest thing for a time traveler to do, because they can have the ability to go and see how things are going to turn out. That just may be hard for them to just have to sit in the moment, especially someone like the Flash, who can move at the speed of whatever at this point, to have to sit there in the moment and just live things and let them play out. So it gave them a sense of something to have conflict about. I'm glad that it was basically wrapped up in the first episode, that he had his little heart-to-heart with Joe and Cecile, and then Barry and Iris have the heart-to-heart, and then he's just like, throws it into the fireplace, and then just like, snaps and makes a, fire, because apparently that's a thing he can do, and burns up the book. I'm glad that it was resolved in one episode, and this was not something, because I think in past Arrowverse seasons, in years, this would be carried out, this would be the overarching sort of source of drama and arguments and stuff like that for like 4 or 5 episodes, if not longer. But here they have 13 episodes. It's got to be all Flash, no filler, all gas, no brakes. They've really got to like maximize the 13 episodes that they have to tell these stories that they want to tell. We already know Green Arrow's coming back for an episode. We know that the Legends of Tomorrow are going to appear again. I mean, it's going to be the crappy version of Legends, I imagine, that I don't even like anymore. And because like they originally were going to do like a two-parter with them to kind of wrap up where their story left off when they were canceled and their cliffhanger of getting arrested by the Time Police and Booster Gold coming in and doing some stuff. They don't have time to do that. They have one episode with them. So are we going to get like a throwaway line of how they got out of the situation that they were in, or is it going to be because it's time travel, is it going to be a Legends from a different time? I'm wondering. But at least we'll get to see the Legends again. We'll get to see Kate Lotz one last time in the Arrowverse. I'm excited about that. But so there's going back to Flash. There's like 13 episodes. They have to maximize every episode that they can. So I'm hoping that they do. The episode wasn't bad. I mean, it kind of reminded me of some of the stuff that I don't like about the show. How I don't care about Allegra or Chester, like this overinflated cast that we've got. Cecile is apparently telekinetic, and she's going out into the field, which Joe is kind of like, Joe wants to leave Central City at this point, which is fine. It's almost a decade of this metahuman craziness and his life being threatened, the lives of people he loves being threatened, lives lost. He's kind of like, you know what? Like, he's lethal weaponing it. He's like, I'm too old for this shit. Like, I want to go and settle down, and actually settle down. So I'm wondering if that's going to be like a source of drama or something with Cecile, because she's all super happy about mastering her powers and getting out to the field and being like the heavy hitter of Team Flash. Will that happen, or will she just realize, hey, Joe's right, let's seek the peaceful life outside of Central City? Remains to be seen how it shakes out. And then, of course, speaking about the bloating cast, that's not even getting into this whole Caitlin, not Frost. Danielle Pennebaker is playing a new character with blue extensions in her hair. Haven't looked deeper into it to see if this is some comic book thing that she's bringing to life or what have you. I probably should, just so I can have a better understanding of it to talk about it, but at the same time, I don't care at this point about it. I'm just over the whole Frost dynamic and what they tried to do, what they have done with the whole first Caitlin is like talking to herself and looking stupid doing that because Frost is in her head, and then they're two different people, and then she dies, and then they want to bring her back, and I'm over it. Like, is Danielle Pennebaker like the new Tom Cavanaugh? If this show is going to go another 2 or 3 seasons, where we're going to see her play other iterations of other characters, just because I'm over it. And when they change things, when Iris teams up with Barry to help stop Captain Boomerang, which is comical in itself, the idea of just Iris with this giant gun and she's going to be out there doing stuff, it's just whatever. But he sets off the bomb, which is going to be basically like a nuke that's going to go off and nuke the city, and Barry waits till like the last moment and it's about to go off, and he like starts like doing the whole like super hand vibrating fast thing, and he touches the thing, and then the fire comes out from this thing, and then this wave just washes over people but doesn't do anything to them. And I was like, okay, where's the sciencey, sort of explanation as to why he just did what he did, that he vibrated the machine, and thus the nuke-ness of the nuke did not affect anybody. It was just harmless fire that washed over everybody. And I was waiting, and I'm still waiting for them to explain what did he do. But I don't know if they're just like, at this point, screw it, like Flash did Flash things and saved the day. Because that's basically what I just literally wonder if the script says Flash does Flash things and saves the day. And they're just like, cool, let's go, let's shoot it. Like, it was like, I don't know, it was just weird that they just didn't touch it, didn't try to explain it. But it is what it is. All in all, it was a decent episode. It was just kind of a reminder of these characters I don't care about. During the whole nuclear fire moment, Chester and Allegra finally come together and kiss, as they've been like working towards them since like last season, or maybe the season before that too. They're going to end up together, I imagine. Well, right now they were kissing, and then they kind of like broke off, or Allegra did at least. So I imagine there's going to be an episode or 2 of like, oh, should I, shouldn't I, will they, won't they, which I'm just like, whatever. Just like that whole trope of like, will they, won't they, and just try to extend things for drama's sake. just two people that you're going to put together eventually. This trope of like carrying out this will they won't they thing, just and then stringing them along, stringing the audience along for just stupid reasons over multiple episodes. Like, we really got to do something about that. Let's just do away with it. So I'm really hoping they don't take up a chunk of these 13 episodes of the B plot or C plot with them just pining for each other, but not wanting to take that step. It's just like, come on now. Like, it's been done to death. You've only got so much time. Wrap it up. It's a pretty decent episode, all things considered. It's just the way that they stopped the bomb was just dumb with no explanation. It was just Flash does Flash things. It kind of like showed why I like the Flash and why I like Grant Gustin, have liked him as the Flash. And of course, you know, Jesse L. Martin, salt of the earth. He's been just, the fact he's been there from the beginning, even though some of his episode counts in recent years have been drastically taken down, he's still a great presence when he shows up on the show and does his Joe parental figure stuff. It just works for the show. He's the heart and soul of the show, and I like that he's been there and will be there through the end. Remains to be seen how the Red Death shakes out, how Captain Boomerang is eventually going to shake out when they give him more stuff to do, when they bring in other rogues. So, got 13 episodes, so I guess we'll find out together how it all shakes out. Hopefully they just end things on a high note, on a good note, and not a whimper. Remains to be seen. I don't know, but those are my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media. Talk to me there. Talk to me here. Until next time, I'll just geek.